All right, guys, welcome back to the next episode of the Glow Collective. I'm your host, Dr. V, and on today's episode, it is titled Change Your Brain, Change Your Mind, and Manifest. So we're all going to dive into everything I love about behavior change and the art of manifestation, and really how important it is to understand how we can start to change things within ourselves to allow for the things that we want and desire to bring into our reality, how to allow them to flow in and create these dreams and actually manifest. So I asked Diana to help me with creating a list of questions. So we have 21 questions we're going to get through today, and it's going to be really good. I can feel it. All right, guys. So let's start with question number 1. So question number 1, what are some important things you have to do or you should do to keep yourself in check in terms of your morals? Well, I think morals are important, right? It's important to have your inner compass. We all have a sense of right and wrong, of good and bad, right? We live in this world of duality. We're taught these things from childhood, right? Like, don't touch the stove, it's hot. Or don't do this, right? Or do that. And I think being able to adopt for ourselves just a right way of action is really important. And I think, honestly, for me, keeping your ego in check is really important. And I think if you focus on whatever you're doing, that you're doing it to impact yourself, but also others in as well. So you're not just doing it for your own selfish gain, you're doing it to also improve the lives of others. You're never going to go wrong. And I think another common thing is just treat others how you would want to be treated, right? And I think that's just a common, very simple thing that we can do, because it is important to keep ourselves in check. And sometimes no one's watching, right? And no one would know. But someone's always watching, right? There's always a higher power watching, and yourself, right? You're going to know, and those things eat at your consciousness. So I think just being able to treat others how you want to be treated, I think that's so important. All right, so question number 2, how can we treat others in the best possible way, even under pressure? Well, I think it goes along with question number 1. I think focusing on, whenever I'm making decisions or I have goals or dreams I want to bring to fruition, I've learned that it's better when it can't just benefit myself, right? If it just benefits myself, yes, I can make it come true, but if I make it benefit myself and others, at least 3, 5, 10 other people, the universe wants to support us. The universe wants to support our dreams. The universe wants us to manifest. But we're here to live together, and we're here to vibrate together. And when you make your alignments and your dreams, when your dreams and your desires are in alignment with service for yourself and others, or through others, it is going to come through. And under pressure, I think it's challenging, because that's when, well, maybe we're just not the most patient or the most compassionate. And I still think, we've all been on either the giving and receiving end of someone who's been under pressure. And isn't it great, or isn't it really nice when you're met with someone who takes that extra moment or shows you that extra second of compassion and gives you grace, right? We all deserve that. And so that's at least what I try to pause and focus on. So question number 3, is change good? And why is it good? Well, yes, I think change is freaking amazing. I think we are here to, I know, we're here to evolve and we're here to grow. And being able to change is so important, especially with the times that we're in. If you stay fixed and rigid, you are not going to make it through. You are probably going to drown in all the chaos of what's going on, because you just can't quite keep up, because old, outdated structures cannot support new ways of being. And I think the more that we can work through our restrictions and blocks and come to this really beautiful place of ebb and flow and of just receptivity, of giving and receiving with ourselves and our environment and the world around us, we can really start to make waves, and we can really create long-lasting change within ourselves and in those around us. And that is why we're here, and I think, the universe will only give you what you can handle. And sometimes we don't know how much we can handle. But I think that if you have patterns that keep repeating and different things like that, then it's time to look at, well, what needs to change and how am I allowing this or not? What do I need to release to allow for this growth to take place? So change is definitely good. Embrace change, glow getters. I do, and that's the only way you can make your dreams come true. I'm really grateful because I've gone through a lot of incredible transformations within myself over the past year, definitely year and a half, 2 years. And it could only be because I had to be willing to change. I had to be willing to look at myself and say, okay, this Dr. V does not support the Dr. V that she needs to be in order to accomplish XYZ, or me as Vindia, what needs to shift within me? What do I need to release or soften, or where do I need to be a little bit more porous or rigid in my boundaries, or different things like that. And as we allow ourselves to say, okay, this does not serve me anymore, and change it and allow for change without feeling bad, without feeling embarrassed or insecure or whatever it is. I think that's so important. And yeah, I think change is so incredibly important. So question number 4, how can we reevaluate our words and thoughts? Pausing, right? When we're in conversation, how many of us are truly actively listening? How many of us are listening to the conversation? And instead of listening, we tend to already start thinking about, what do we want to say right now? What are the next words going to be? What am I going to respond to, right? How am I going to respond? And instead, you're missing out on the moment. You're missing out on this present energy. And we can reevaluate our words and thoughts by giving ourselves an extra moment of pause. I also think just open and honest with yourself and giving yourself plenty of time for self-reflection, and even having a good support group, like a group of friends or gals, your family, a therapist, or someone who you can be honest with. I think that's really important, where you can be honest and open about things that you're feeling and your thoughts, and viewing them from the lens of, are these thoughts serving, my mission? Are these thoughts or words serving my dreams and my desires, my manifestation? And if they're not, actually being willing to shift them, to release them, and to take in new thoughts and words is so important, and because those are going to set the stage for the behavior change. So, question number 5. Is self-development worth losing people in your life? Yes, it is. There's nothing more better than evolving. We're here to grow. We're here to evolve. We're here to shift into a better place, a better energy. And we're here to release our limiting beliefs and our trauma bonding, our attachment styles that we have, and just our pattern triggered responses. And the way we do that is through self-development. And as we evolve, often our circle will change, and we have to be willing to let our circle shift. And sometimes old friendships aren't actually going to serve us in our new way of being. Maybe they will, maybe they won't, but I wouldn't be afraid of losing or that loss, because you're going to gain friendships and people and connections that do value your shifts and see you shifting and growing in that light, right? And you're more joyful, or you're living your life, you're doing your dreams, you're more just active or excited or joyful, right? And people that are toxic or pulling you down, they have no room for you in this as you're evolving. And it doesn't mean you have to cut them out. You can just let the energy dictate how it flows. But often, I find that a lot of people, when we shift our energy, those around us will shift. It may not be immediately, but there are subtle changes that can begin to happen. And those subtle changes can become more profound. And often the people around us will also improve at the same time. But if they don't, you have to know what you're willing to stand to be around and not, and be willing to let go of things that don't serve your new way of being, right? And I think that's really important. And the other thing I would say is what, don't focus on the loss. Focus on what you're gaining, right? You're gaining so many incredible skills, confidence, and just, right, this glow with self-development. And you don't have room for any negative Nancy's or naysayers or Krabby Patties or whatever you want to call it, right, in this place. And you're going to attract the people in your life that support and see you and truly value and cherish you. So question number 6, how true can we be to ourselves when we psychoanalyze ourselves? Well, you can only be as true as you want to be true, or as compassionate and open and vulnerable as you want to be. I think vulnerability is a beautiful thing. It's challenging. It's scary to put yourself out there because, well, you can be shot down. You can be rejected. You could, right, not be seen, whatever it is. But I think when we're able to do that with ourselves, it's so important because so many of us are afraid of even just facing our own demons, right? We all have skeletons in our closet and things that we would rather not talk about or address, but these things are holding inventory. They're taking up inventory, taking up real estate in your energy field. And you don't want that. You don't want that. You want to release it, and you want to allow for just beautiful space and beautiful energy. And when you trust yourself enough to be honest and open and receive, or just go through your own, constructively give yourself feedback or receive feedback from others, I think that's really beautiful. And I think meditation or reflection is really helpful, or, support groups, therapy, different things, just to have a place where we can be open, messy, and vulnerable, and we're not judged, right? Like whatever gets stated in this space is part of the healing process and the part of the transformation. And these things that you state will change, right? But this is how we can then start to work through things. So, I'll say for myself, an example or two is I used to be very ultra sensitive. I used to be so sensitive. And, especially if it was with a loved one or a close family member, anytime there was constructive criticism, like I would just cry. I couldn't handle it. Like tears would just flow, and it was challenging for others to have a conversation with me because I just couldn't, I would just cry, and I don't mean to cry. And part of that is just being able to work through your own blocks. And as I did that and healed myself, I wanted to understand, well, where is this switch, and why does it happen automatically? Because I should be in control of my emotions, right? And if I'm not, that means there's something there that's unprocessed that I'm getting triggered by to work through. And by working through those things, right? Like being able, I now have a thicker skin. I can receive criticism, not take things personally. I think that comes with growth and maturity and just doing the inner work, but also just like coming to your place of self-love, knowing what you bring and your value and what you're worth is beautiful, because no matter what, if someone doesn't see that or value that, like that's on them, not on you, right? And so I think it's really important to just be able to give and receive with yourself first, and doing it openly, like where you can, if you want to call it psychoanalyze or reflect, or, I think it's just giving yourself grace. I like using that term, the terminology, giving yourself grace, where we're not perfect here. We're all going through our own things, but if we can learn to give ourselves grace, that is a beautiful thing, because then we can extend that grace and compassion to others. And that is why we're here. So next question here. What does it mean to change for the better? Well, we could definitely make a behavior change for the worse, right? Where you take on a self-sabotaging habit or something like that. But change for the better means you are shifting and releasing you're doing new habits, having new actions and behaviors, doing new things that are in alignment with the person you want to be, with the person, with your dreams, and you're actually doing the things that you say you want to do. and you're acting in the way you want to act and how you want to be. And so often many of us aren't in that congruency. And when you can change for the better, you're going to see the things around you really flow in this beautiful and serendipitous, synchronous way, because the universe wants to support you. The universe wants to support us and support our dreams. But often we don't know, we're self-sabotaging ourselves in our effort. Like when you want to manifest, often they're like, well, focus on the feeling and feel it. But how many of us actually do that? Like instead we are thinking these loops, right? Like if, let's say your thing is, oh, I want to get in better shape. And like, you should think about how amazing it would be to fit into those jeans. Like, how would you feel if you could put those jeans on? Like, would you feel sexy? Would you, just like, how sexy would you feel? How amazing would you feel? Would you smile? Would you light up? Do you get warm and tingly? Right? Those are the things to think about. But instead, you think about it for like a minute or 2 minutes. And then instead you're like, oh, I shouldn't eat this to make me fat, or I didn't work out, blah, blah. Those are all closing the loop. Those are red lights. You're closing that signal. That's not the way to go about it. It's to stay in that beautiful, flowy energy space. And as you shift into that energy, the things around you just can't help but shift as well.
And now for a message from one of our sponsors. This podcast is sponsored by Alive and Vivid Skincare, featuring Bakuchiol Glow, their signature serum containing bakuchiol, a revolutionary plant-based retinol. It also contains cannabinoids, specifically CBD and CBG, as well as other botanicals to combat common signs of aging, including wrinkles, redness, and texture. This is also great for rosacea-prone or acne-prone skin, or those who cannot tolerate retinols and desire alternatives to their skincare. It is formulated with effective and cutting-edge ingredients for those who desire cleaner, medical-grade skincare. Visit drvskin.com/alivevividskincare to learn more and use the promo code BAKUGLOW to receive 10% off your first order. Visit the show links to find this information.
So question number 8, how do you know if what you want in life will not hurt others? Well, sometimes we hurt others unintentionally. I think we know when we're intentionally hurting someone, but sometimes it's hard when we're making a decision for ourselves that maybe others may not fully understand, or maybe it's because it shifts the dynamics of things. And I think that making a decision for your growth and for your self-development and for your evolution is going to, can hurt others, but it's not to be done in a way that's intentional. You're not being vicious or vindictive, right? As you take a stand for yourself, those of us that, if there are relationships in your life that maybe are a little toxic or are imbalanced, these will be challenged. And when they're challenged, it's easy to feel hurt and different things like that. But I think that if we can approach things with grace and compassion and honesty and trust and a little bit of vulnerability, it will really help us in the long run in so many beautiful ways. All right, so question number 9. How do you make others support the big decisions you want in your life? With love. Okay, yeah, not everyone in your life is going to support your decisions. I know I've had some challenging decisions to make, and you just have to do them with the most grace and love that you can. And I think just being open and honest and having those conversations with people, I think that's a way to do it. So often we do not communicate. We just hide away because so many of us don't like confrontation. I'm not a big person to like confrontation either, but I've had to learn that it's better to state it and be open with people than feel hurt, like myself feel hurt, or allow them to feel hurt. And so if you just have an open communication and you're able to be vulnerable and just schedule time to and work on yourself so that you can have challenging conversations and not be triggered, right? Or if you get triggered, work through them and give yourself grace with that. And if you're in the middle of a conversation, just say, I need a minute, or can we pause this and pick it up, or XYZ, right? And state your needs. I think that's really important. So often we don't. So question number 10, how do you manifest? Well, there's so many different ways to manifest. And I think that part of that manifestation is understanding the desire of what you want. And I think that when you can create that desire, you have to feel like it's actually happening. And when we can do that, we can really create some really beautiful waves. And so for me, part of that is you have to create a feeling. You have to shift the neurochemistry of your desire and feel into what it would be to live that dream. So if there's something that you really want, like, how would that person, when she has that, how would she feel? How would she feel as she goes through her routine, right? How would you feel if you already had that, right? So let's say something like a car. If you really wanted a car, how would you feel driving your car? How would you feel sitting in the driver's seat, putting your stuff in there, parking and XYZ? Like, you're not going to go wishing you had a car when you had a car, right? You're going to enjoy it and love it. And we often don't know how to shift and skip to that feeling of having it. We get lost in, our senses tell us it's not in our physical reality. So how can we pretend like we have it, right? But that's how manifestation works. You have to feel it, and then you have to elevate those emotions and just feel into it like it's actually your reality, because your brain does not know it's imagined. And if you can imagine it and feel it as having come true, it's going to happen. There's going to be shifts in the energy field around you. The universe will present you with these things because the universe wants us to feel good. So when you're feeling good, you're going to be connected with other things that say, hey, she feels good. Yes, let's do more of this. And if someone's putting out negative energy, that's what they're going to attract. So you don't have to go persuading anything. You just have to focus on feeling that and being that. And I think a couple times when it's actually a good time to do that is with meditation, when our brain waves are slower. I think before bedtime is a really good time when you can start to really reprogram your brain in a beautiful way because it's more suggestible, right? But also as soon as you wake up, that's another beautiful time to practice that, because often we just forget. We forget our true nature and our desire, and we get caught up in the fast-paced nature of the world around us. And for me, it's, focusing on what it would feel like to have the things that you really would love, and how would that person feel? And so for me, when I was starting my practice a few years ago, or let's say getting into dermatology, when I was in residency, I didn't realize I did a lot of visualization, but I did, in med school. So I had to feel, how would it feel like when we got our match day card and you walk up, how would it feel to walk up there, open it up, and have it say dermatology, right? You would feel freaking excited. I would be like, whoa, yeah, right? And that's the energy that I had to focus on before that. Now, not just the day of. That was something I practiced for months leading up to it, right? Every day I'd be like, okay, you walk up, what's that energy? Yeah. Cause then you're priming yourself and you're excited. And so, then when it's just funny, that's how it works. And you just have to learn to apply these feelings in your life and repeat it. And doing so in the face of before you're seeing it happen in your physical reality, because you can have what you want. You can have anything you want. You just have to know how to want it, and you have to know how to allow it to come to you, because everything around us, right, there's particles and waves, and what gets put out comes right back. And so if we can stay in that feeling of things coming into fruition, they're already present, you're going to act differently when you have something than when you want something, right? How many of us get super excited? We want to go shopping. We want to get the shoes or whatever it is, right? And then when we get it, we're like, oh, okay. Right? But no, instead we have to focus on, how would it feel to already have that, right? And then when you have it, love it. And that is so important in manifesting. So you really use your feelings as a beacon to move you towards what you want. And so if you're, wanting to get a promotion or move forward in your job and your relationships, like, how would you feel if you already had your dream job? Like, how would you as a glow getter, what would you do? How would you act differently? Would you put out needy vibrations, or would you feel like bad about yourself? No, you'd be like, oh my God, this is freaking amazing. I'm doing XYZ. So grateful. And gratitude is so important. And if you can't find the feeling of something, then focus on feeling gratitude, because you want to show the universe that you are in love with yourself and with life. And gratitude is the ultimate state of receivership. Take those feelings, magnify them, turn them up, and believe it and trust it. And as you attract and feel and become that, the things around you will shift. Like, that is just how it happens. There really is no other way. So let's dive a little bit more into manifestation. And I want to cover the next series of questions where Dinah asks, does manifesting need to be in the form of words? How can we act out a manifestation? And what are the things that ruin a manifestation? And how can one manifest even if they aren't spiritually awakened yet? So we're going to cover these and so much more. I covered that no, manifestation is not just in the form of words. It's your thoughts, it's your energy, it's your frequency, your vibration, it's your behavior. What you energize manifests. And the more that you practice that without fail, and the more that you really become mindful and intentional on what you choose to focus on and what you choose to give your power to, the more you're going to energize what you desire. And it's not that, I think part of it is where I'm very careful about using the word lack. And part of it is that we feel that because it's not with us in our physical reality, that we lack it, that it's not present. And that's not necessarily true. We're already more than enough. We are already complete. We're already whole. We just forget that. And so everything that we desire is literally already here. We just have to claim it, choose it, and actually believe it. But that's the hard that is what's so challenging. How can we believe and trust in something that's not there in front of us yet? That's where all of these tips and different things and the reworking and the repatterning, the remembering kicks in. Because if you feel like you're already living your dreams, you are going to be living your dreams. You are going to manifest those things because that energy is right for, and it's in alignment. So the first thing I love to say is, you have to believe without a doubt that what you desire is on the way, or that it's already there. And it has to be you. Like, you have to vibrate at that frequency. You have to act as that person that would have these things. And you have to truly believe it. It can't be something you just pretend. It can't be a facade. You have to believe it. And that is the key, because you attract what you are. So if you are already the type of person who would have that dream career, have the partner, have, that beautiful home, travel, whatever it is, be, clear skin, whatever it is, like, if you already believe that you're that person, your energy is going to vibrate and you're going to shift the energy field around you. And so number one is knowing what you desire. And this is really a prerequisite to manifesting. You have to be able to clearly imagine it and visualize it in your mind. I'm very grateful that I have a very wildly active imagination, where you have to see it and feel it, and it has to be like a movie reel, or you have to feel like it's like a live thing happening in real time, where literally, what are the sounds around you? What are you wearing? Are your nails painted? What color? What are you what are you wearing? What are your shoes? What are the sound your shoes make? How's your hair? How's your makeup? Who are you with? Are you inside or outside? Is it sunny? How does the sun feel on you? Are you eating or drinking something? And how does that taste, right? All of those things, you're now activating and incorporating all of your senses. And that is what we need to do here. And so in order to really have that clear image, being able to visualize is really important, because then now you're going to be consciously co-creating with the divine, and you're going to really level up your energy and show the universe that you believe and you trust and you are already living it. And so it is going to come into your physical reality. And this is how you set yourself up for success with manifestation. And the most important thing is to claim it. You got to claim it. You got to believe it. And it has to be a conscious decision, it has to be a commitment. And anything that takes you away from that feeling, you let it go or you learn to shift it. And that's so important. Anything, let me repeat that, anything that takes you away from that feeling or that vision, let it go or learn to shift it, because it's all you. Like, do you understand that? Like, it is all coming from you. And if you believe you're worthy and you're living those things, it's going to happen. But if you forget and say, oh my God, but XYZ isn't here, this isn't present, you've lost it. So now you got to come back, and that's why it's a practice. And number 2 is you have to really have this beautiful version of yourself in your mind. And you have to do and feel that everything in your life is how you want to see yourself and how you want to feel. And in order to manifest what you desire, you have to become the person who would be able to have it. The person who has it isn't going to be negative, isn't going to be a Debbie Downer, isn't going to do self-sabotaging behaviors. They're going to feel full of joy in life. They're going to be out there living their life, helping others, glowing and just lighting it up and just joyful or whatever it is. And at least that's what it is for me. And so whether or not whatever external circumstances support that or not, I'm constantly coming back to this space and this energy. And this is where meditation and letting go and surrender is really beautiful and helpful. And so the energy of how you see yourself really does determine how you think, feel, speak, and act. Now, do you get that? The energy of how you see yourself determines how you think, feel, speak, and act. So for me, for example, to become, get into dermatology, there's a specific, I would say, there's a type of person you have to embody. You have to be presentable. You have to be conscientious, respectful, outgoing. You have to be caring, present, and anything where I was not that, I wanted to shift so that I was that. And sooner or later, as you start to do that, you will become that. And that's just how it happens. And so there's a difference between the energy of what you desire and where you are now to where you want to be. Those are different frequencies. They're in different vibrational frequencies of alignment. And we are coming in and out of that alignment based off of our belief and our trust. And when we can stick to that vibrational alignment where what we desire and the person who has that is you, I promise you, glow-getters, your life is going to change. Your life is already changing by just listening to this podcast. So it is up to you. It is your duty, your job, your responsibility to choose your thoughts, your feelings, your words, and your actions. And you need to make sure that those thoughts, feelings, words, and actions, your behaviors, your mindset, all of that is of the same energy of the thing you wish to create or call in. And that's how it is. So like for myself, I ask, well, who would I be if I have everything I desire? And, at that point, when I was doing this exercise, I said loving, abundant, and be giving, big-hearted, light-hearted, and be peaceful, graceful, a powerful force, open and receptive. I'd be full of light and love. And I'd be confident, beautiful, sexy, right? And so anything that where I wasn't presenting myself in that way or carrying myself in that way is deterring from that person. So there goes the work where when you're not in vibrational alignment, how can you shift those things?
All right, guys, this episode of the podcast is brought to you by Encompass Aesthetic Consulting. Now, I am so excited to share this sponsor because I'm a part of it and help create it. Now, listen on. A huge part of what I love to do is giving back and really using my skill set and experience to help others. And I'm excited to announce that I will be offering one-on-one training, consulting, and management advice to our Glow Getters and our listeners. And I'm not doing this alone. I've partnered with two of my closest associates to bring you the ultimate in advice and training for aesthetic practices. So without further ado, this episode is brought to you by Encompass Aesthetic Consulting. If you are interested in becoming a nurse injector, starting a med spa, or really you just want to take your practice to the next level, Encompass will get you there. Our team knows the aesthetic industry inside and out and is an unparalleled resource for an aesthetic practice. We cover every area of your practice and bring hands-on clinical training, business development, legal and medical expertise, all in a time-tested and proven package that anyone can afford. So if you would love to work on a personal level with me and Injector Jen, please reach out to us at info@consultwithencompass.com. That's info@consultwithencompass.com, or visit our website, consultwithencompass.com. All right, and back to the show.
And so the next question is, well, what are thoughts that you could fill your mind with and that can help you set that stage there, right? Where you asked, does manifesting need to be in the form of words, right? Affirmations are great where you say, what I desire is already here. I'm already what I desire. Gratitude, right? We talked about that. Expressing gratitude for having those things already, right? Like whether it was a dream career, when I was starting my practice, all of this stuff, I was already expressing gratitude to the universe for those things. And so all of that is now shifting that stage and that energy. And another one I like to say is, it's easy for me to co-create what I desire. I am that vibrational match, and I am the co-creator of my life. The universe supports me. I am supported by the universe, whatever it is, right? Or by God. And then you have to look at the beliefs you have about yourself. So, when we talk about manifestations, manifesting, there's a lot of different things that go into it, but you have to feel worthy of being. You have to feel worthy of being, and you need to feel like you deserve it, because glow getters, we deserve everything we desire, right? And the universe is actively co-creating your desires to bring them into fruition. It's just responding to the energy you put out and the energy at which you're operating. And so there can be circumstances that switch and synchronicities, things that can happen at any moment right now to bring those into fruition. A timeline can shift and all of these things. And all it takes is you choosing that feeling, that state, and feeling it, like truly freaking feeling it. And that's one of my favorite things. Like lately when I wake up in the morning, I just feel all of the beautiful things that, I have already, that I would love to have. And then I feel as if I already have them. And it's just, I just get excited because it feels good when you have the things that you want, right? Or when you're content or satisfied, that feels really freaking good. And now you're elevating your energy, and that is what the universe responds to. And so part of that, yes, is believing that you're worthy and that you're more than good enough, because you are, that you're perfect just the way you are. But you also need to be willing to make shifts to come into that vibrational alignment of the person you need to be. And if you're unwilling to make shifts or make changes, which comes back to one of the earlier questions, you're going to stay stuck in a place where you're not going to be manifesting at the rate or speed or desirability of what you want. And I promise you, glow getters, I apply these things to my life every day, and I'm sharing them with you because this is what I do for myself. Other things that, I often will say is that, what I offer is valuable. I am of value. I believe that everything always works out for me. I believe that good things happen for me and for others, and only good happens. There's only good that's going to come around, and not just for me, for those around me. And I believe that I am loved and supported and provided for by universe and spirit. And those around me are also loved, provided, and supported. And I live in abundance, and I share these gifts and these gifts of abundance with those around me. So do you see, like, as we're thinking and listening to these thoughts and beliefs, what emotions are coming up for you? You know, like for me, like I always feel a lot of gratitude and humility and just grateful because the universe does provide us with so much, and we're so blessed, you know, having a car, a bed, running water, work, a job, friends, family, your health. All of these are things we take for granted. And starting with coming back to that gratitude is so important. And then following up that gratitude with unwavering faith that what you desire is already happening and unfolding is the next step. And so having that confident expectation that what you desire is on its way, trust in the unknown and in uncertainty, because if you could plan everything out, we probably, our dreams wouldn't come true because we do things in a very programmed way. So you have to leave things up for let uncertainty and the unknown play its role, because things could happen and shift at any point. You just have to be open and allow it and express that gratitude. And as you do that, then you can step into your new way of being. And as you hold the vision of what you desire in your mind, you're going to act as that person and step into that new way of being. So for myself, I see myself as a confident, worthy, sophisticated, graceful, and strong woman with a powerful mindset and aura, an incredible heart, and I feel what it's like to be her. And see yourself being, doing, and having what you desire. See it through your own eyes, feel it through your own eyes, and then give thanks. Like express gratitude that you already have it. And then just be open to receiving messages and live your life, and and watch as things start to unfold, right? Because you have to accept your desire. Often we think we're not good enough. And when we are putting that out, we're not going to get it, right? And so you guys, we're all on the same page here. You're not alone. Like we all want to manifest. We all want our dreams to come true. And I'm here to say that they are coming true and they will come true. And I want to help guide you into that. And so your desires come from you, and they're special and they're sacred, and you should own them, and you should spend time cultivating them and co-create with them, because that's why we're here. And when any fear comes up, just release it. You know, often we have a lot of fear of scarcity, not being good enough, rejection, all these different things. And it's time to understand when a fear-based thought is kicking in, and then what you can do to get back on the bandwagon and gain that positive momentum again. And so often for myself, if I would fall into these like traps, I would tell myself, no, that is not real. That's just how you used to think. That is your old way of thinking. This is not you. What I choose to think is XYZ. And I would say that every time until it came up. So, with manifestation, covered a lot of things there, covered how to act out a manifestation, things that ruin a manifestation. We talked about that. And if you're not spiritually awakened yet, that doesn't matter. The universe responds to energy and just your vibration. So you have to just believe and trust and have faith, and that's it. And next question is, do you believe that one can change their behavior overnight? I say yes, because it's just a matter of your choice, your willpower, your mindset, and your choice. And if you can do that, if you can choose to, it's all based off of you. And as human beings, we are incredible. We have such determination and tenacity. We have persistence, and it's all a choice. So it's all a matter of how much faith and love and trust you can have in yourself and the universe. So yes, I believe if I decide to change my behavior, I can do it. But often we don't, because we haven't fully committed or made up our mind, or we fall back into negative thought loops. And so, it all is all with you, right? I think having an accountability friend or a buddy that you can do this with is really fun, because then you guys can bounce off the positivity off each other. And this is where you both are going to co-create and manifest together. And then energy multiplies, right? So next question is, what are some experiences that told you to change? Well, I would look at a variety of different experiences that I've had in my life, from maybe high school through college, med school. It's all an unfoldment for me. And just who is the person I wanted to be? I always knew I wanted to have my practice. I knew how I wanted to be with my family, how I would want to be with my partner, and, how I would want to be as a dermatologist and as an aesthetic provider. And all of that was shifting my mindset and personality to become that. And then now looking back, I'm like, wow, I am her, right? I'm still evolving in this beautiful way, but that's the purpose of life, right? And it's all a choice. It's all intentional change, right? And so, yes, there's things when each of these times when you have to make a pivotal decision and you have to pivot, it can be very challenging. It can be extremely challenging because we're letting go of what's comfortable and what's familiar. You know, when I started my practice, I was scared. I was freaking scared shitless. I was so scared because I was like, well, I've never run a business. I don't even know how to file my LLC. I don't know how to manage people. I don't know what insurance stuff means and all these things you say you don't know. But instead, what I had to coach myself through until I finally took that plunge was, you know what? I'm going to be connected with the people who will support me. The universe wants me to do this. I want to do this, and I want to focus on the value and the service and the excellent, amazing care that I'm going to be able to provide for my patients, and also live the life that I feel that I'm worthy of living. And each of these times that you have to let go of something that isn't serving you, you say yes to space and energy of what does serve you. And that is the whole point of it. And so I think part of another experience I would say was, decision. I don't feel like my mindset I wasn't as disciplined growing up. I don't feel I was a little bit, but to really take it to the next level of where I needed to be to get into residency and all of these things, I had to shift and let go of behaviors and habits, whether it was staying up, going out, whatever it was, because those did not help me become the person I needed to be. And then I got to the point where, I felt like I was a little too rigid and type A, and I would always say no, and I wouldn't have fun. And I was always just thinking about my lists. And I was like, this isn't who I'm meant to be. And this was just, a year or two ago. And I had to learn to let go and say yes to life again, and to embrace my playful nature, my spontaneity, my creativity, my sexiness, my laughter, my joy, and bring that into my energy field again and release some of that type A and uptightness that I had really gravitated towards, right? So number 18, how should we stop dwelling on our past behaviors? You just release them. You say, this no longer serves me. This served that person at that time. I've learned the lessons and I'm no longer her. This behavior is not me. And instead I choose XYZ. And I literally will state that to myself. Next question is, how do you know that someone is wanting you to change, and should we change for the sake of someone else? I think this is an interesting question because I think change should come from within. We should do things for ourselves, not for others. But I wouldn't be lying. I would be lying if I said we didn't make changes for other people. And so part of that is we can make a change for ourselves that will also benefit others. But I think it should primarily not be for external validation. It should be for your own internal validation. And then from there, if it also benefits someone else or, is for someone else, that's okay. But we shouldn't do it hoping that, okay, that person is going to validate me or whatever it is, because that's not true. And you're getting sucked into the wrong loop here. So change for yourself, but it's okay to change for yourself and others, right? We need to change for ourselves and others to be the person who's a leader, who's doing these amazing things. That person needs to change for her team, for her community as a leader. And that is a good reason to change, right? To be able to give more and provide more and be everything you're meant to be. I think that's perfect. So question 20, leading to this question, how selfish should we be in order to stay true to ourselves? Well, I've gone on extreme ends of this where I was always I would say, I'll use the word selfish because I had things I needed to do and I could not be distracted. So I didn't really do as many things when I was in residency or med school because my priorities was acing my way through residency and learning everything I needed to be the best dermatologist I could be. And then, when I started my practice, I wanted to give everything to my practice in order to put down the foundation for the life that I want and for building a team of women that I love that are also living out their dreams. And so I think it's important I think we need to be able to take care of ourselves before we take care of others, but it's all a balance. So it's all being able to give to others while also giving to yourselves. And I think we can tell when we're off balance. And if we're not, then doing a little reflective work is helpful, or ask a friend, right? So final question, what are your manifestations that you are still working on for this year? Since this year is almost coming to an end, it's crazy. It sure is. I cannot believe this is mid-October already. I'm recording this on October 14th, so this will come out a little bit later. I just want, I want to be present. And I want to end 33 on a bang. My birthday's November 18th, so I will be 34. And I'm grateful, living my dreams. I want to just say yes to life. And I want to give back to others and be present with the people I love. I think there's really awesome things that I'd love to do professionally and with the podcast. My biggest thing is I want to connect with people. And I think love is a big thing too. I think part of it for me is I always struggled with commitment because I thought it was a distraction. And that's the way I viewed it. I viewed that relationships were a distraction and it took work that I wasn't willing to put in. I didn't know if I wanted to get married, all of these things. And I think there was a lot of really beautiful soul searching that took place for me over the last 1.5 to 2 years. And I'm grateful for that. And so I think, manifestation's working on, I'm ready for a committed partner and really to just move forward in my life in that way. And I was always hesitant to state that because of whatever reason. But again, if you can't state it or own it or celebrate it, then it's not going to come true. And so now I'm excited to know that and to state that and to welcome that in. And I think going along with that is, there's so many things where I was always so nitpicky about a partner. And part of that was because I was so nitpicky about myself. And I had to learn first how to give that unconditional love to myself in order to give it to another person. And I'm grateful for all the lessons and growth that I've had and just the shifts in my personality. And then I reached a point spiritually where I realized that we're not meant to be here. I thought that being with a partner would take away from me spiritually. And that's where I realized how wrong I was, where actually we grow by connecting with others and by building connections with others. And there's no better connection than the one that you can build in an intimate way with your partner. And that is what I welcome in. And so, I just look forward to more dreams coming true and just being present with people I love and my partner. So, all right, Glow Getters. This was an amazing episode. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. Just remember that this is a practice where you cultivate your faith. You got to know what you desire, claim it. Now you get to train your brain to focus on what you desire. Believe it's already here and on its way to you because it is. Embody the experience and really feel that you have it. Give thanks that you receive it, and then just let it show up in your life. All right. Until next time. All right, guys, if you enjoyed this episode of The Glow Collective, I humbly invite you to take a conscious moment to keep this vision glowing. I would love for you to subscribe, rate, and leave us an honest review. And if this podcast resonates with you, share it with 3 or 4 of your family friends. Tag me on Instagram at DRVSKIN and let me know which words and messages really hit home for you. Let's get the message growing. And why? Because I really want you to glow. Our time is now. And this podcast is only made possible because of you, because I am called to give back to you and share these ideas, thoughts, and messages with all of you, my intrigued glow-getting listeners. We are high vibrational beings here to grow and feel. We are meant to create and perceive deeper experiences of connection and to ultimately enhance the level of love and joy in our relationships of our life. So this is a wrap to today's episode. I'm your host, Dr. V. Stay tuned for the upcoming episode of The Glow Collective, and let's live, love, and glow.